Shannon, they paid you a visit, but what happened last night?
Skip, I think the Patriots got a wake-up call last night. We had been talking about it all year. And I never bought into this notion that they were historically a great defense. I said, Skip, they haven't really been playing anyone. The Jets and Miami and Washington. And if you look at the teams that they're playing, they aren't very good. The quarterbacks are even less good than the teams that they actually play for. I said, now it's going to be very interesting to see when they start playing teams that are better offensive, and the quarterbacks are better. And this is what happens. I had a front row seat to one of the historically great defenses. And there will come a time in which the defense will struggle, and then the offense needs to carry the weight. We played Jacksonville, I think the second game of the season, Skip, and we won 39-36. Defense just didn't have it that day. We were able, Tony Banks was offensive player of the week, threw for 5 touchdowns, no turnovers, and we won the game. And what I've told you before, this offense right now has just been riding. They have a front row seat like I had when I was on the Ravens team. They've been riding. They haven't been carrying their weight, and you saw that front and center last night. The Ravens go out 7-0. Tom Brady gets the ball, bloop, bloop, 3 and out. Go around again, 14-0. Tom Brady, 3 and out. The Ravens had 17 points. The Patriots had 3 points and a first down. Now, I'm trying to figure out, now somehow, I got a feeling this is going to come back on Coach Belichick's defense. But I just want to know, when the Ravens scored 7 points and they kicked the ball to Tom Brady, what was he doing? What did he do? He did absolutely nothing.
My turn? Oh.
No, it's not your turn just yet, Skip. I just got started. I'm 2 minutes in.
Well, you're just a chef. What do you know?
He is so much more.
Look, they came to my restaurant last night. You should be glad I opened up for them. Normally, I send them away, but I was...
Your restaurant went out of business a long time ago.
We're back in bit.
Yeah. You pick lots of losers.
We were in renovation, Skip. Yeah. We had to get some renovations. Look, Skip, I'm shocked that the Ravens' bread and butter, the way, and Coach Belichick, Skip, he's built his backbone, he's built his reputation. What do you do best? I'm taking it away, and if you beat me with plan B, I can live with that, but plan A is obsolete. Skip, the Ravens got what they want running the football. They had the ball over 37 minutes to 22 minutes for the Patriots. That's unheard of. The Ravens had 2 possessions in the second half. 2, Skip, and they had the ball for almost 18 minutes. An 8.5-minute drive, a 9.5-minute drive, and a kneel down at the end of the game. And the Patriots could not do anything with them. It's going to come a point, Skip, and because the Patriots are not this dynamic offense, you run out of opportunities. You can't keep going 11 plays, 12 plays. They don't have big play capabilities. And now they're not running the football the way we saw them, Skip, run it the last half of last year and into the playoffs. They're not that team, Skip. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but if y'all think Tom Brady is that same Tom Brady from 3 or 4 years ago, you're sadly mistaken.
You're sadly mistaken, but when is it my turn?
Take it away.
Is that it?
Oh,
thank you.
On that note.
Now the show starts. Last night, before America, Lamar Jackson and the Ravens exposed the many, many flaws that the New England Patriots already had. In fact, I believe they were the most flawed 8-0 team this league might have ever seen because we couldn't really see the flaws until last night. And I got to compliment Nick Boyle, the tight end for the Ravens, because he took a shot last week and he was right and he backed it up because he said that defense has not seen anything yet like our offense, and he was dead on right. And usually anybody on the opposition who dares to take a shot at the New England Patriots going into the game,
eat those words.
He eats it. Tom Brady makes him eat it, even though Tom Brady doesn't play, obviously, on defense.
Correct.
But somehow the whole Patriots rise up and say, watch this. It felt like he was the backup tight end, though he started most of their games. And he played well, and they played great. So what did we start seeing a week ago, even though it was dismissed as it was in a driving rainstorm at Foxborough? We saw Nick Chubb get off. He got loose.
He did.
Didn't he?
He did.
For 132 yards and 159 total. Right? That the Browns ran for. That was the beginning of what was about to happen. And then what did we see last night in the first half? We saw the Baltimore Ravens run for 155 yards in the first half against that defense that was on historic pace, right?
Well, we tried to warn them.
Not anymore. Not anymore. 155 yards, heading for 210 total rush yards. What? 210 total rush yards? They went, thanks large part to Lamar Jackson, who was phenomenal last night. They went 5 of 10 on third down and 1 of 1 on a key fourth down in the late in the third quarter. Mm-hmm. And that added up to what you referred to, 37 minutes of time of possession. So Brady only had the ball for 23 minutes. That's a good way to beat New England.
Right.
And what did we see right out of the box? First drive of the Baltimore Ravens. It gets down to a field goal because they finally buckled up and stopped them. And there's an offsides penalty, an encroachment penalty. I'm not sure who was at fault. They didn't really name him. Yeah. But you ever see a Belichick team do that?
No, it was.
You don't do that. Whoever it was, I figured he was going to get cut by halftime, right?
He might be on the waiver wire this afternoon.
He might be. And then we saw Julian Edelman do what he's often done, which is scratch and claw for an extra couple of yards, and he didn't quite take the football along for the ride, and it bounces on the turf, and it was Baltimore's night, and it's one hop right up to Marlon Humphrey, and he is off to the races.
Marlon Humphrey's playing his tail off.
Hey, he did. In fact, he's starting to rival Stephon Gilmore as the best cornerback,
because he's
right?
traveling.
And he took Edelman a lot. He said after the game, I did have some help on some plays. We doubled him some, but he made it hard on Julian
And
Edelman.
then when they started going to Sanu, he jumped over on Sanu.
Did he? Ooh, he was all over the field. But that was, you gave him 4 points on the offsides on the field goal.
First possession,
and
correct.
then you gave him 7 points on the Edelman play.
Score.
Okay, so that's 11 points that a Patriot team rarely gives to the opponent, especially on the road. If you give Baltimore 11 points, what's probably going to happen?
You're probably
going to lose that game at Baltimore, because we know Baltimore's a very good team and has been pretty good
especially
at home. Now, let's go, shall we, to the flaws on the Patriots' offense. The Patriots cannot run the football, as opposed to the Baltimore Ravens. They just can't run it, and they haven't really been able to run it all year.
Right. That's true.
So they grand totaled 74 yards last night, and can you tell me what Sony Michel did? Your man from University of Georgia, what did he do last night? He remained in a slump in the doghouse.
Skip, he only had 4 attempts.
4 carries for 18 yards, and one of those went for 10 yards. So do the math on the other 3. He is going nowhere. Slowly is Sony Michel, and it ended up being James White was their leading rusher with, 30-some yards?
9 for 38.
Okay, way to go. So that's the first problem for Tom Brady. And the second problem is, obviously, there's no Gronk, and obviously, there's no AB. And obviously, there's now no more Josh Gordon. And I thought there were reports on Friday that N'Keal Harry, their first-round pick, receiver out of Arizona, who I think is a flat-out stud, some reports that he was preparing to play last night. Did not happen. He's been on IR for the first half of the year. So you don't even have N'Keal Harry last night, but you did have Mohamed Sanu. What am I seeing so far from Sanu? Who I've not watched closely over the last couple of years. He's been very good, but now suddenly he's sort of going to be the featured receiver.
Right.
What did you see last night? I saw just another possession receiver with no real ability, no burst to separate, right? No burst.
He's a smaller Josh Gordon.
He looked like a smaller Josh Gordon. He looked like a less quick Julian Edelman, right?
Yeah.
And again, Tom had pretty good rapport with him, and he threw him a bunch of balls.
He did.
He caught a bunch of balls, but he never really threatened or hurt the Baltimore defense. Am I right?
Yeah.
So it's still pretty much Edelman or bust, with an occasional throw to Philip Dorsett or to James White. Brady threw one nice ball up the
rail.
Up the boundary. Okay, and so that's all you got. And now you remain without your left tackle, Isaiah Wynn, and without your center, James Andrews. And all of a sudden, they could not protect Brady, and he has nobody who can really threaten the defense. So what did Baltimore say? What did Wink Martindale say? You can't run it, so we are going to run after you, Tom Brady. We are going to come after you every which way but loose.
Yep.
We're coming from everywhere. Blitzing, Earl Thomas got in the blitz package. He was all over Tom Brady. And we know, especially at age 42, heck, at age 22, Tom Brady was not mobile, right?
No.
So he cannot escape that kind of pressure.
Right.
If you give him time, he'll pick you to pieces. And they did have one run through the third quarter where they went no huddle.
Right.
And all of a sudden, it looked like they were starting to wear down and wear out the Baltimore defense and keep them off balance enough they couldn't substitute. And it was harder to throw in your blitz packages because you just have to play your base defense, whatever it is, because he's coming right after you.
Yeah.
And he got on a pretty good roll. So now we get to 3 crucial plays. Early fourth quarter, after he's on a good drive, he's completed passes of 4, 11, 3, and 9. So he's moving fairly well here. You can say it's a lot of dink and dunk, but that's pretty much his receiving core.
Okay.
So now it gets to be 1st and 10 at the Baltimore 48. And he throws maybe his worst ball of the night to Sanu. If we could see this, please. To Sanu, and it's behind him, and it's almost picked. It's almost picked.
It should have been picked.
Okay? So that's the first hint of, uh-oh. And then Brady gets angry in a good way on the next play. And what does he do? He throws the ball of the night, his best pass of the night, right up the seam to Benjamin Watson and hits him right in the hands, and he drops it. And Tom Brady is furious because that's a field goal right there. And I'm going to remind everybody at this point in the game, it's only 30-20. So if you catch that ball, it's going to be maybe 30-23.
I mean, Skip, he could have gave him a better ball.
I thought that was a great ball.
Skip, Marcus Peterson's
Oh,
playing
that's it. That hit him right there.
Skip, Marcus Peterson's playing 2-by-1. Give him a better ball.
You can't throw it any better than that.
Yes, you can.
That's his best ball of the night. I'm sorry. That's big time
If that's his
Brady.
best ball of the night, that explains why you lost by 17.
Which led to, you could argue, his worst ball of the night. Tom Brady threw a mad ball.
Yeah.
He just got frustrated and sick and tired of no protection and nobody getting open. He said, watch this. I'm just going to fling this as far as I can because he thought Sanu was going to break stronger to the end zone, and Sanu kind of pulled up, and so he just cuts loose in the face of another on-rusher, and he throws a punt right to Earl Thomas. Just threw a punt right to Earl Thomas, and that is the ball game, ladies and gentlemen, because after that, here comes Lamar Jackson on a long, what was it, a 14-play drive for the touchdown, and the defense just could not deal with Lamar and company.
Oh, hold on, wait a minute.
Thank you for watching. You can subscribe here to get the latest from the show, and be sure to check out more of the best clips from Undisputed, or go watch a few other segments from our other shows on FS1.